Hey there, my name is Stephen Fogg, and I'm with Fogg Media and Healthcare AIO. We are a marketing advisory firm located in Charlotte, North Carolina that solely focuses on the healthcare industry. And we've been spending some time in the past 5, 6 months learning how to optimize websites for AI overviews and the SGE experience. And I'm here to share with you some of our tips and tricks, and also share with you a case study of what we've done, how it's worked, and take it from there. So I'm going to share my screen here momentarily, and I'll just put my little funny face down the bottom. Great. So you can see what we got going on here. So first and foremost, let's talk about the search generative experience and how it's changing, how search is going today. Basically, we do know that online search is changing. You might have already seen these in place. This is your search generative experience or AI overview. This is traditionally with Google's things, but Bing, Meta, you name it, they're all doing this as well too. But you can see this is the same search that we've done over a 5 month period. This is strictly, we searched hospital rankings. We did it back in September, we did it in November, and we ran it again in January 2025. Now, back in September, when you search hospital rankings, you had an SEO result for that. You can see U.S. News and Health come up here. It has the best hospitals health rankings. We're located in Charlotte, North Carolina, so you can see our data below there for us to be optimized for me personally. Now, it's great, but then look into November of 2024. That same result, hospital rankings, has now been truncated for the search generative experience or the AI overview, where two-thirds of that landscape that you were optimizing for search is now taken over by an AI overview. You can see the AI overview here talks about Newsweek's Best World Hospital Report, showing the top hospitals in the world in 2024. And then below that, the lower third of the two-thirds of your search bar is your organic search matter. Now, we did that same search back in January, and to be honest with you, when we started doing this, we didn't have an expanded search generative experience for this, so we used a whole other example altogether. We started presenting our findings to clients back in December, but as of January, we ran that test again, and you can see now that same search of hospital rankings has an expanded search generative experience or AI overview with there, whereas all that SEO matter that you were using for uh, basically to be picked up online for organic search is null and void. You're no longer above the fold when it comes to the search experience. And if you have any knowledge behind search as a thing, that's a very important thing. So what we've been doing has been trying to understand and analyze how can we make our partners or clients to be a part of the search generative experience and also have them be more accessible and more um, present in the space as a whole. And we're going to share with you about a little bit about our strategy with that. So our strategy, and I apologize for the rudimentary of this, but I'm going to share with you two quick slides from it. You know, we are look to our clients to be as accessible as possible with their content or with what they're putting out in the world. Why? And when I'm not talking about accessibility, I'm not talking about for the handicap and disabilities. Those are givens, those are null, those are understandables, those are things we need to focus on. But we need to understand how can that brand be accessed online. It's not just in the traditional forms of writing blogs and putting them out there. It's being a part of the Internet of Things and being able to be accessed on not just your computers, your desktops, your phones, your tablets. We're talking about Google Glass. We're talking, we're talking all different places. And we're also talking about not being in front of the device anymore. We're actually talking about, can you listen to them? Can you visualize it? Can all these matters be put in that space? And the four things that we focused on with our case study with accessibility is understanding that all large language models are now trained to understand our content cues and conversational language, meaning that, the traditional way of searching for like best doctor near me is now I am looking for a uh, pediatrician in Raleigh, Durham that can help my son get amoxicillin for strep throat. The principle, this is the same principle that we've had with SEO, education, expertise, authority, and trust, and all the content that is put out there. But this is being more scrutinized now with, the use of ChatGPT to write blog content. And also understanding that less is typically more when it comes to content these days. Traditional days are just throwing a whole bunch of content out on their website, several per month, and being picked up for search is really becoming a thing of the past. We were at Inbound back in September and saw Neil Patel, and he was sharing that there's 9.5 billion pieces of content being put on the internet every single day. That's just not blogs and podcasts, maybe that's tweets, images, you name it. It's a part of it right there. But so knowing that it's much more important now to be part of the EAT process with your content, you're doing things. Voice and audio, can your content be searched for verbally or visualized? The voice part is here today, and we'll show an example of how we're doing that. The audio using AI programs like Sora is now becoming more popular in a part of the dialogue, but it's still not quite there yet. And then visual, understanding that large language models or search SG experience now has the ability to analyze, design, and translate, meaning that your website can now be read from the front end. All that back end coding that we did for 20 years for the SEO experience is now a thing of the past. Let me take a step back and let be less dramatic. It's becoming a thing of the past. I think by this time, 2026, the SEO experience as we know it will be a relic of how people are engaging and enjoying search as it may. Don't want to spend much time on here, but again, here's an example of what we're talking about with yesterday's search. And we were trained to do this, right? We were trained to talk into or to type into our Google search bars, best primary care doctor. And now in today, instead of doing that, is I'm looking for a primary care doctor that treats my family of four with children under 18. Same with urgent care near me. My son has strep throat. I'm looking for urgent care that can prescribe amoxicillin in South Park. That's the difference between the search. Last one, testicular cancer symptoms. Now what people are searching for is what does it mean when I have a lump and a sharp pain in my right testicle? I use that last one because that is my first symptom of being a testicular cancer patient when I was diagnosed back in 2009. But again, we've trained ourselves, Google's trained us to search for things in very cavemanish forms of best primary care doctor, urgent care near me. But now you see the way people are searching for things, and it's much different, it's much more advanced, it's much personalized. And they're not typing this in a search bar. That's a lot of words to type in. They're prescribing it through an audio prompt. Our Siri, our voice functions on our phones are becoming much more advanced than they were years ago. And the last slide I want to show here before we actually start talking about the testimony, the campaign is the EAT premise. That as we again focus on still providing content out there, but we want it to be more rich and mature. So if you're using AI to start writing a blog, that's fine. But if you push it out as it is like that, you're going to get dinged. There's watermarks. There's a whole bunch of cues written in that, put in that content that search engines can identify as being AI generated. On top of these four categories, including into that AI content that we sometimes will call like the skeleton of the content, the EAT premise is the meat of the bones that actually creates the human experience or the personalized experience from the content. So, looking at this from a healthcare perspective, you want to include experience, maybe personalized. Maybe that doctor had an experience with a patient, or maybe somebody in their family um, uh, that can be relevant. Then also include your expertise and your authority, because AI lacks this depth and this experience and doesn't have a reputation in the space. So this is where you'd be talking about your knowledge of X or Y. Why it's more beneficial, and then using the authority side of it to link back to maybe articles you might have in JAMA talking about X or Y. Again, building up the authority. These premises are very standard when it comes to the SEO side of things too. And then trust is, why do people in Google, why are they going to trust what's coming from you? This is linking back to all that reputation matter you have out there, maybe your health grades profiles, maybe including some testimonials on these things. Again, building up that trust along those lines. So again, understand the EAT premise and how accessibility is changing search. One program that we are very bullish on here at Healthcare IO is using Google Notebook LM to, sorry for that, including Google Notebook LM to help build more accessibility in it. So Notebook LM is basically that. It's a program that builds notes for things. However, what we love with it more is that it can also provide an audio overview for the thing. So what you can do here, and it's not load, it's going to take a second for me to load. So what we did here is we literally would take a URL directly from the page. Let's give that example. So let's say we'll take this is the testimonial campaign, but just so we can give you an example, we'll create a new notebook, literally include the URL directly in there, and it will build your notebook for you. It will talk about you. It will recap what's on that page. But then you can also generate a deep dive conversation with this. And this is what it turns out to be. And I'll just give a quick example.
Into ways to boost your heart health naturally. What? Buckle up. We're about to deep dive into something pretty fascinating. Oh yeah, bergamot. That's right. You might be surprised to learn that this fragrance.
I don't want to kill the demo with all that, but what I love about it too is it understands. It doesn't just talk to you regurgitating what's on that website. It also understands the brand that this content's associated with. So for this is our case study. This is our client Thrive Carolinas, which will go here, which is a Center for Personalized Healthcare Wellness. They're a functional medicine group located here in Charlotte. They're very adamant on promoting solving a problem at the root cause, which might also include, which most of the time includes your diet and your health and your exercise. And so what I love about the Notebook LM, how it generates those audio overviews, is it does it understanding from the perspective of the brand. An example of that is they do recipes on a weekly basis. The one for Thanksgiving that talked about they give a recipe for a sweet potato crisp with cranberries on top of it. And what I liked about it is it not just talked about the recipe, but it talked about the health benefits of sweet potatoes and cranberries. These were nowhere near in the article whatsoever. And then it also went to recommended dosages based on, if you're here or there along those lines. It's really intuitive with those spaces. But as I talk about this, let's talk about the case study as a whole, Thrive Carolinas. With them, we have spent 60 days implementing that EAT strategy and adding accessibility to our content. Now, we're not using AI for accessibility. We're actually using our Instagram post to embed things right directly on there. But with that, I want to share with you a little bit more of what we're doing. So we talked about who they are, what they do. We implemented the EAT strategy and accessibility strategies and then upgraded the podcast. So an example of this is we did a page based on the new Mediterranean diet. Come on, let's load. Well, let me see. We'll start here while that one's loading. We built, so we optimized the landing page for weight management. This is one of their big areas of focus that honestly needs a little extra love with it too. We took the existing content from this landing page, put it right into ChatGPT 4.0. We didn't even use a responsive model, and plugged and came up with this. But we also optimized it for the eat using the EAT strategy. So you can skim through here real quick, and you see this podcast right here. This is that Notebook LM. What we did here, and we started a podcast called Building Your Foundation of Functional Podcasts. So we put all these things in there, and we embedded them directly into the page. You could see all these things. Talk about meet Tracy Larson, view her bio. Here's an example of how we did this for the Mediterranean diet. Again, talking about understanding that this is a functional medicine group, but here's how we optimized a page for them. So obviously imagery, new Mediterranean diet, a modern approach to healthy eating. This is important to include here in all your things right here, this article was written by Nancy Palermo, the doctor or the MD. We made sure to include edited by Thrive Carolinas. That is an indicator on, AI overviews that this article was ran through AI. Now, being transparent with it all helps with the aspect of it. But you can see imagery optimized. We included our podcast in here too. That was again just used from Notebook LM. Has its same woman and man voice over it. Talked about the new Mediterranean diet, linked classes within it. Did all the traditional EAT premises within it, migrating to different content within the website here. And then at the very bottom, we included our Instagram post here that talked about a Mediterranean diet directly from Nancy Palermo. Now, oh, that's new. So, what did this do? What has this done for the products? Well, we did a 28-day test a month ago, and you can see our initial findings after 21 days is Our active users are up 12.9%. Our event count is up almost 20%. Our key events, which these are, subscribers, learn more, request an appointment, download an ebook or whatnot, up over 50% over the previous 28 days. And our new users are up 12%. Interestingly enough, we're seeing a decrease with organizations that are typically not optimizing for AIOs or a search engine experience. You're also seeing here, look at our organic search is up almost, 15%, direct's up. Our paid is up, almost 40%. And we did not include any new budget within those things too, but everything is up across the board. Now, that is a 28-day finding. I'm going to share with you our 60-day finding here correctly to showcase you how well this is done for us. Now we're running GA4 with them. There's no HIPAA issues with their website. So we're still able to run this. And let me get this over here. So let's dive in a little bit. Let's explore. So user activity over time, engagement. Let's do last 12 months. Let's do last 90 days. Again, since we're doing a 60-day comparison. Now, this is roughly about where we started kicking things into place. Actually, that's not a good one. Let's start September and add. Okay. So we started implementing roughly around here. We saw decreases in here. Things started taking off around Christmas time and have been skyrocketing ever since. Ever since we've been going straight to optimization, everything using the EAT premise and focusing on accessibility with our content. I love showing this out there because it's showing what's going on here. Everything's been flat. If you can look back 12 months on the same data, there you go. This is a great premise. This is right around where the AI overviews of search engine experience started kicking in. And you can see it typically flat. Now, I can tell you that's about the time when they start seeing decreases based on seasonality. You're in the holiday season along those lines. And then look at the increase right back up to where we were beforehand. So again, by doing those things, we're seeing tangible results. Let's look at events with this. And I'm gonna slim it back down and we'll do a comparison. We'll do a comparison of November to, and we'll just start on form submits. These are a good place to go. And we'll compare that with the time before then. Okay, event count. These things I was talking about. Form submits, schedule an appointment, request more information, sign up for an ebook. Event counts, we're still up 23% from that time over when it came to it. Our pages and screens, look at, we're up 2%, 3%. We started trickling up a little bit along those lines. Let's remove that piece of the puzzle. And you see our pages and screens going on here. I'd like to share with you more of what we've done since January. And what I love to see is, remember that page right here, New Mediterranean Diet, a modern approach to healthy eating. Look at this. It's our fourth most viewed piece of content within there. 645 views online. Again, this is a small practice down here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So there's not, the traffic isn't gangbusters on a national level, but we're seeing, everything going as we expected it to be. Overview. Let's look at acquisition. That, and then we'll do it over the same period. Actually, let's just do this preceding period. And look at our our search traffic's up, still up 8%, engaged up 3. Interesting, seeing down a little bit. You can see our numbers are increasing, our directs up, paid is up, assigned. Not getting the report I needed. So again, here's our engagement events. And you can see we're up, 8. Engagement's down a little bit. Interesting. Our first visits are up. Our scroll, look at our scroll is up 61%. Our clicks are down, but that might be just the way that we're confusing. Form starts is up 6%. Form submit is up 20, almost 24% over the preceding period. So, and interestingly enough, with that too, you're seeing the users are down a little bit with those forms, meaning that we're getting more engagement out of the people that are coming to it. So, again, we're seeing a lot of success with this, with the periods that we're going with. I love showing our increases. Well, let's see if we can go home. Here's our year. We're up over the previous year. We'll do last 60 days. Here we go. This is a good one right here. Over the last 60 days, you can see we're up 30% active users, 32% on event count, 31% on new users, and 30% on views over the previous 60 days. Again, and look at our engagement. Our direct's a little flat. Paid is still up. Unassigned, not again, I have to figure that one out. But we're gaining. We're making headway tractions with what we're doing. So wanted to just share with you a bit about how we're doing things over here at Thrive. And what we're doing, again, with those overviews here, we're downloading them, uploading them right into our Buzzsprout account, where we've got our podcast, building your foundation of functional podcast, and having them go in there. And these are views, or these are listens beyond beyond the web page. So that is it in a nutshell of our story behind Thrive Carolinas and everything. Something else to note about too is we looked at some of our other information on our constant contact account. And we have an ebook going on discussing weight management. We have another one with our promoting our detoxification program. And since this has taken place, we've seen 117 signups for that book, which is up dramatically from beforehand. Also, our classes are up about 50% with signups since we went this way too. Again, I think that'd be a direct correlation to that engagement rates that we saw beforehand. But that is it. That is our 60-day showcase of Thrive Carolinas. We're going to do this again in another 30 days, continuing the same premise. We might look at optimizing our form sites. Which right now I still believe that they are optimized for the traditional SEO experience, not AIO. We need to get a little more information and more intel on that as well too. But this is a pretty simple, content strategy that we're putting in place. And if you're interested in learning more about it, feel free to reach out to me directly, and we'll take it from there. But without anything else, I appreciate your time and have a great day. Bye bye.